Is he an upgrade on Nicholas Jackson? I don't know. I don't think so at this stage of his career. I've really been impressed with what Jackson's brought to Chelsea. But Liam Delap is a player that, if he does make that step to the next level, I think can score a lot of goals. And when you're having the England conversation about who's the striker after Harry Kane, I don't see it as being Ollie Watkins. He's too much in the same age range as Harry Kane. I see it as being Liam Delap if he makes the right move. But, Jace, you obviously play in the game. You've played against top forwards. What is it that Liam Delap brings to a team that maybe Nicholas Jackson doesn't?
Well, what I suppose Chelsea looking at is his age. You think about the demographic that we look at of players. Is they're always young, potential, yet to be realised. Cole Palmer's the perfect example. There are a number of other players that we're still looking at. Gusto, I think, has had a really good start to his Chelsea career, and he ticks that box. Ipswich went in, credit to them. Man City clearly had to balance books. We know what homegrown players bring in on the balance sheets, and Manchester City have done one or two of those. I don't think this is going to happen. In fact, it won't happen in January. Do not see Ipswich selling right now. His price is only going to go through the roof. So I think we're talking about something that might happen in the summer. What we need to do is move players out, as we've done in the past. We're quite ruthless at doing that. We're good at it. We get a lot of stick for how we dealt with it. Conor Gallagher, Mason Mount, one or two others of shifting these players out because it doesn't quite work right now. But if you're going to make space, you're going to make space. So someone has got to give way. I kind of fear that Nkunku might be a bit of an issue because if you want to play him on the left, he's got competition out there. You want to play him as a 10, he's got competition there. You want to play him up top, he's got competition there. And right now, there's a reason why he's playing in the conference, stroke FA Cup or Carabao Cup side, because he can't quite get ahead of those others.
With your playing experience then, would you be happy as Christopher Nkunku right now, or would you see it as motivation to make you a better player all round, just from your own experience?
Well, when chances come, Kweku made a great point. Newcastle away in the League Cup, there's your chance. He wasn't alone, by the way. There were one or two other players that let us down on that evening, and I think as a collective we weren't great, one or two moments. But when you get your chance, you've got to take it. And that's why I felt he didn't celebrate against Noah. He scored this, was it the sixth, seventh goals? They were late on in that game. And it felt a little bit like he wanted to get in on the action, wanted to get on. Everyone seemed to be scoring on that night except for him. And I felt a bit sorry for him because when you don't, as a striker, you should celebrate every goal. I get if you're celebrating the sixth goal and it's in the opposition's nil, there's not a lot of, the game's over and the game's won. He can only do so much in training, and when the chance comes, if he doesn't take it, and Maresca's proven already how ruthless he can be, he's dropped Enzo. You drop in Enzo, you're one of the most expensive midfielders in world football ever. Yeah. It tells you that he's not afraid to make big decisions, and right now, Nkunku must be feeling frustrated. I feel a bit frustrated for him.
Yeah, definitely. Let's look at a player, an English player, Noddy Madueke. He has had some great performances against Greece and Ireland. If we look at his stats for Ireland, 4 chances created, the most of any. 4 accurate crosses, most of any. 12 touches in the box. Say it all together. Most of any.
There's a pattern here. Yeah, there's a pattern here.
We're praising him today. He's had a great performance with England. What do you make of it? How do you rate it?
Do you know what? So that right-hand side going into the Euros, it was only Saka. There was only really Saka that was going to play out there. And deservedly so. He earned his place. And I think Saka's had a decent start to this season. What Noni's doing now is giving Tuchel options. He's giving him a chance to go in on that right-hand side. What are my options if Saka either isn't fit or isn't performing? Noni's put himself front and centre right now. I felt, actually, his England performances over the last 2 games have been better than Chelsea's over the last 2 games. So that, we can only benefit the fact that he had good performances. You can imagine what his self-esteem must feel like right now. Yeah. He must feel, right, I've done it for England, had a big hand in the way that we won and had a set-up in big chances and goals. He must be coming back thinking, right, show me Leicester.
Absolutely flying right now. And what he got to do as well for England is not have to worry about going that way. At Chelsea, under Maresca, the reason why Noni started a lot of these games is because defensively he's very strong and he's willing to do the dirty work. We saw that in the Arsenal game, despite the fact that when he got on the ball, he was a bit frustrated at points, but he was asked to do a lot going backwards. For England, against Greece, against Republic of Ireland, because England got most of the ball, he's going that way. And that's why you see the best in Noni Madueke. He's a classic old-school winger. Gets the ball, tries it. He might try it 12 times a game. It might only come off 5 times. But because you're a winger of that kind of cloth, or cut from that cloth, you only need it to work once or twice for you to create a goal scoring action or create a goal itself or score yourself. So I think his performances, like Jay said, for England have been more impressive recently than his performances for Chelsea. But for Chelsea, he's asked to do a different job. And so I can understand, because we were all at the Arsenal game, and there was a frustration from some Chelsea fans when Noni got on the ball and maybe he picked the wrong option. But you've got to think that he had to think about going the other way, and that does take a lot out of you as a winger. And I heard Adrian Durham talk, I think maybe a step too far. He said that Noni Madueke is almost guaranteed his starting spot in the England team. And I just don't think that's the case. I think Bukayo Saka, when he comes back in, is a guaranteed start on the right-hand side. But what Noni has done is, like Jay said, he's given Tuchel options. He's given Tuchel a headache. He's now made himself part of that England squad, which he wasn't at the beginning of the season. So credit to him as a player, credit to his development. But now I want to see it for Chelsea week in, week out, because we've seen it for England on the international stage. Let's see you do it for your club, because if he does perform to a level that we know he can, Chelsea are in for a very, very good season.
Here's a question for both of you, sorry. Who's Chelsea's best player on the right-hand side?
We were having this debate, weren't we? I mean, I'm a big fan of Pedro Neto. For me, he is our right winger, and I wouldn't drop him for that. However, I like that we have Noni Madueke in our side as well. You play Neto on the left. I don't think he's as effective. But I feel like
it's
Maresca.
a tough one, right?
I feel like Maresca because we're blessed with wingers at the moment, and very high quality wingers. But if I had to choose, I think I would have to put Neto on the right.
So now the conversation goes back to Chelsea. Is Noni guaranteed starting on that right-hand side?
No.
And I'm not sure he is.
No.
Because if you ask me now what I would do against Leicester, I'd play Neto on that right-hand side. And because the way that Leicester are going to set up, it's not going to be like Arsenal, where Noni, as you made the point there, Noni and Neto made great runs defensively, except on the goal when Noni's just let himself down a little bit, hasn't got himself back in time. But you're Maresca, you're looking at England thinking, great, but you're looking at Chelsea going, well, I've got Pedro Neto, and I can put him on the right. Unless Noni plays out on the left, which I'm not convinced he will. If he does, it's a little bit of a like, well, you're not good enough for there, you're going to go there. So there's the situation Maresca finds himself in. Yeah. Fascinated to see who starts on that right-hand side. He might go with Noni and Neto again, actually. Probably will do that.
I think he will. But for me, I like Neto on the right, and I know he's been ill and he's been absent for a few games, but I like Jadon Sancho on the left-hand side. I think the intricacy, the little 1-2s on the edge of the box, I think brings the best out of a player like Cole Palmer. And so we've got options, right? And that's all you want as a football fan. You want options in every single position. And out wide, we have got that. But where I look at Pedro Neto in terms of where he's dangerous, picking up the ball and cutting inside, troubling his fullback, he does that best on the right-hand side. And so Noni's got a fight on his hands to start for Chelsea. That's why when I hear people say he's a guaranteed starter for England, he's not even guaranteed starter for his club side, but he's performing well, and we like to see it, don't we?
It's good.
Chelsea players perform well on the international stage and the club stage.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.